And here we go, another edition of Sports Medicine Weekly on this Saturday morning. So happy you're with us, everybody. I'm Steve Cashel, Chicago Bulls radio host, joined this week by Dr. Charles Bush-Joseph. He is one of the team physicians for the Chicago White Sox and also the Chicago Bulls sports medicine specialist, orthopedic surgeon from Midwest Orthopedics at Rush. Doc, good to see you again. Appreciate you filling in this week for Dr. Cole once again.
Steve, it's always a pleasure, and I love my Saturday mornings. And now that we're in early April, this is the time of the year that we want to start talking about our fun and recreation. And I think for you and I, there's nothing more we want to talk about than a little bit of golf.
That's right. Well, it's funny because Dr. Chuck had a shoulder surgery performed by one of your partners, Dr. Greg Nicholson. You had a, reconstructive? What was it, replacement?
I actually had to have a replacement. I was unstable when I was young, and the shoulder dislocated a little bit, and finally it wore out. So I'm a metal and plastic guy now.
Wow. And about 5 weeks ago, Dr. Brian Cole, my usual co-host here, did the surgery on me. I had a biceps tendon. I can never pronounce it. What did I have again?
Biceps tenodesis.
Tenodesis. And I had a little bone spur plus some arthritis that was scraped out from what I understand. So,
in baseball parlance, we would call that a cleanup scope, Steve.
A cleanup scope. All right. And it's been great. It really has. And I got a million questions about it. But we are both golfers, by the way, to our listening audience, Dr. Chuck and I. And we've got to talk about golf. It's one of my favorite sports. It is my favorite sport, actually, next to NBA basketball, doing the Bulls. But the sport that I play the most. And let's bring on our first guest here, TJ Sullivan. TJ Sullivan is a manager and director of instruction at the GOLFTEC in Oak Brook. I've been taking lessons at GOLFTEC for a long time, and these guys have helped me so much, and they're just tremendous at what they do. And how about this, Dr. Chuck? TJ, not only a PGA member certified in teaching and coaching, he has been a GOLFTEC instructor for greater than 11 years, has provided over 19,000 lessons. Have you done that many surgeries?
I've done a fair number of surgeries, but I'm sure TJ has seen everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
With that kind of experience. So we're happy to hear his insights as to what he's going to do for tuning up early in the season for guys like you and I.
So TJ, welcome. Tell me, I'll start with my first question. Give us some tips to prepare for the season, the golf season, that most of us may not be aware of.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, guys, for having us on, and good morning. I think the first step that everyone needs to go through is, of course, go to your local GOLFTEC. But aside from that, I think when you're getting involved in this season, I think walking a lot more just in the springtime is actually crucial. How often do we go outside and we maybe start to cramp up if we start going up a huge hill on the first time that we're actually on the golf course? So I think just walking more recreationally can actually help alleviate some of that. And also there's domes, like the bubbles, the heated range. Just make sure to start small. It's not really like riding a bike, and I always like to start off with the first small bucket and kind of work my way up from there.
Steve, how do you advise your students to go through? Do you think just going even to a par 3 range for a little while how long before they really crank up the Big Bertha and start taking that full swing?
Yeah, I mean, I think even starting small, like putting in your house, chipping if you have a little bit of room in the backyard. But in all honesty, I think after you do it maybe once, a half-hour range session where you're kind of starting small, hopefully by then you kind of work out some of the little bugs, and then you can start taking some full rips with driver.
Visiting with TJ Sullivan from GOLFTEC, I'm Steve Cashel with Dr. Chuck Bush-Joseph from Midwest Orthopedics at Rush. It's Sports Medicine Weekly on this Saturday morning, and talk a little golf as we get ready for the first rounds of the year. And TJ, let me ask you, what do you personally do on your first round of the season?
Yeah, that's a great question. In all honesty, I just try not to miss on the first tee, like many people out there. But in all honesty, I think, again, it's the first few rounds are just to establish a baseline after you're maybe working your game. Hopefully, if you're working your game in the off season, you're just trying to establish some sort of context, and it's not necessarily going to establish the entire season, whether it's good or if it's bad. Just go in, no expectation, and start to enjoy yourself after the round.
TJ, I got to ask you a question. GOLFTEC is a wonderful facility with really high-tech equipment. What percentage of your students really deeply engage themselves in the high tech and the visual nature of it, or how much is just you rely on that for you to make your correct diagnosis and analysis of what the player's problem is? I mean, do people just want to hear it from the pro that you analyze, or do they want to see what you're telling them?
I'll tell you, the best lessons that I have are when the people can actually just tell me what's going on, and I can kind of steer them in the right direction. I'm not, with all the technology that we use, it's great. It's a great training aid and it's a great visual. But the sooner that we can actually start creating the feeling as if you are outside, the better. So if someone comes in, they say, hey, this is what I feel like I'm doing. We use the video to confirm. I ask them, hey, what do you see? What do you like? What do you don't? And then I'm just there to kind of ring in the reins to make sure they don't go way off basis. Again, we do use a lot of technology, a lot of ways to measure things, but it's all about playing better golf when you're outside.
Great stuff, TJ. The website is GOLFTEC, GOLFTEC.com. I highly recommend them. They got great instructors. How many different locations in Chicago now, TJ?
I believe there's 6. We just opened up one in Orland Park.
Fantastic. Hey, thanks so much for joining us, and can't wait to hit the golf course myself.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks, TJ. Hit them straight.
Appreciate it. TJ Sullivan, GOLFTEC Center Manager out of Oak Brook and Director of Instruction.